In our last video, we made sure that we remembered how to multiply two binomials together. I'll refresh your memory really quickly. So we took these two binomials together and we got this as our final product. So we got x squared plus 5x plus 6. So I'm going to talk to you about the learning target while pointing out a couple of things to you. I'm going to come back to this word factor in just a second, so hang tight with that. But we should know what the word quadratic means. So remember that quadratic means that the highest exponent, the highest degree in your polynomial is a 2. So even though you would think that quadratic would mean 4, it doesn't. It means that the highest exponent is a 2. And then a trinomial, we better know what that means, right? Because there's 1, 2, 3 terms. So that's the reason this is a trinomial. But let's talk about when the a equals 1 really quickly, because we talked about standard form of an expression in a previous unit. And we talked about how as long as you have it in standard form, and remember standard form means that you have your largest exponent at the front, so in this case that would be a 2, and you work in order from biggest exponent all the way down to the number that's by itself, which is the constant. So whenever you have an expression that's in standard form, that is, you've got the biggest x, the x squared, the 5x, and the 6, and it's quadratic, we assign the variables a, b, and c to represent certain parts of that expression. So hopefully we'll remember. So the a is the number, the coefficient that's in front of the x squared. So when you don't see visually a number, you recall, I hope, that the number is actually an understood 1. So in this case, our a is equal to 1. Also, hopefully you recall that the b is the number in front of the x. So in this case, b is 5. And in this case, c is equal to 6. So if you look back at our learning target again, notice it says I can factor quadratic trinomials when a is equal to 1. So we are going to factor this trinomial. Again, it's got 3 terms. The highest exponent is a 2, and a is equal to 1. So that is why the method that we're getting ready to use works. It's only going to work when it's quadratic, it's a trinomial, and when a is equal to 1. These are all the things that have to be true. And so let's talk about this word factoring now. So again, previously we started with the binomials, right? And we multiplied them together to get the expression. Now we're going to take the expression and we're going to do what's called factoring it out. This is a very unmathy definition, but we're basically like pulling it apart into sections. Another way that sometimes I'll say it is you're like unmultiplying it. Doesn't necessarily mean divide, but you're like pulling it apart. So you're going to be given a problem like this. This is actually where you're going to start. And when you get finished, you're going to end up with the two binomials that you multiplied in the first place. So when I get done factoring this particular trinomial, and I'm going to explain to you how you do this in a minute, you're going to end up with the two binomials that you multiplied together to get it in the first place. So we're basically doing the opposite of what you did before. You're going to start here, and when we get done, we're going to end up here.